The Locked On Podcast Network presents the NBA Big 3 in 30. The three biggest stories in the NBA from our local experts at the Locked On Podcast Network. We bring you the real story, why it matters, what's next, who wins the big game, and more, all in 30 minutes. The NBA Big 3 in 30 starts now with the biggest story in the NBA.
Jalen Brunson called the game. He called series.
You are Locked On Knicks, your daily New York Knicks podcast.
116 to 113. The shot heard around the world. Jalen Brunson sends Asar Thompson to Siberia, Tatooine, whatever. He sent him to a world far, far away on a crossover in the last few seconds of the game, and just pulls up, cans a three. The Knicks go to the next round after, fittingly, and it made me very happy, Malik Beasley fumbles a pass on the other end where he could have had a chance to tie the game. Doesn't even get a shot up, just loses it out of bounds instead, because why the heck not? The Knicks advance. We can finally put this series to bed. How you feeling after that Jalen Brunson game winner?
I'm in a weird place. It's so incredibly cool to have Jalen Brunson on your basketball team. Let's just start there. I mean, I went over with Benji on Monday when he came on the pod, but it is an incredibly short list of guys who are the fourth quarter down the stretch shot makers. And the thing about Jalen, maybe some of it is the confidence of knowing that even when he's struggling, he's going to get the ball every single time down. Tom Thibodeau is not going to run anything other than ISO a Brunson down the stretch of these games. So maybe just the confidence in knowing that. But even when he's struggling, it is that innate knowledge that, like, he's going to keep coming and eventually they're going to start going in, right? Like he checks in with 9 minutes left, 9.5 minutes left in this game. Knicks are winning 101 to 89. It ends up being a 23-4 Pistons run when Tim Hardaway hits the fadeaway jumper to make it 112-105 with 2:30 to go. Brunson buoyed by a one challenge when he kind of like him and Dennis Schroeder both make contact into each other. That was a big play. And then one of the better showings of balance I've ever seen from a basketball player, where he tries to play bully ball on Dennis Schroeder, almost falls down, catches himself, not with his hand like a normal person, but catches himself while slipping off his feet, on his feet, takes a step, up fake, Schroeder goes flying, about a 1.5 pump reverse layup. Asar strips him next time down. He misses a step back on Schroeder. Mikal tips it in to tie it at 113. And then you said it, the between the legs, snatch back dribble, Asar goes flying, three ball. And it was an incredible finish to this game. In terms of how I feel overall, mixed, I think so many Knicks played well. So many Knicks had heroic moments. I've probably done a disservice in talking about this series in terms of how good Detroit has been throughout. But I almost walk away from it's so weird because as many people on Twitter are pointing out, feels like an exact parallel in so many ways to the series with Philly last year, chance to close it in 5. You don't do it. You close it out on the road via a top of the key 3. But I don't feel at all similar to last year where I felt hopeful. I felt optimistic. I was just lauding the courage of this team. And coming out of this game, Alex, I feel like Jalen Brunson is extraordinary, but I can't necessarily say I love where the Knicks are at.
Yeah, it's interesting because you almost feel like it's how you feel like how you should feel if the Knicks were playing with house money, but they're not really playing with house money. You know, it's like going into the next series, it feels like, oh, well, the mission is more or less complete now. It just seems so unlikely that they're going to beat Boston, but we could table that for towards the end of the episode. For now, I'll just kind of live in the moment of, look, this is a roller coaster of a game. They go up early. I mean, you want to talk about parallels to last year too. They went up big and then surrendered it. And then it looked like they were going to lose. And then they came through at the last second, just like the game 6 against Philly last year.
I'm just remembering this, but last year Philly comes back because of the Buddy Hield heater, and this year it's the Malik Beasley heater. And
there you go.
In the second quarter, exact same thing. That's your point.
And yeah, I mean, I was like, that game against Philly last year, I was away on a bachelor party, and that was the closest I've ever come to getting in a fight with someone over a sports game, because there was a It was me and a bunch of my boys from, home, obviously, and then a bunch of dudes that were Philly fans sitting in like a little area next to us. So I don't know. This game, I was sitting at home. I still managed to get almost just as angry. I started like almost punching myself as just to feel something.
Sure.
But
And
yeah, it was it was tough, like, because you wanted them to just kind of put this thing away, and the Pistons, to their credit, just kept like clawing back and making shots, and then like when the Knicks came out and won the third quarter after they had consistently lost third quarters this whole series, you just were like, sick. All right, like we're good. Like this is it. Like the Knicks are a fourth quarter team. Like they've broken their spirit or whatever. And then they just kind of pulled their like third quarter disappearing act in the fourth quarter instead. And just like completely started fumbling the game away. So that made it frustrating. And I was fully convinced we were headed to game 7. I'm happy to have a weekend back now. So I can like do something relaxing this weekend after this series, and how every single finish went to a cardiac finish like this. And it was it just I was getting pretty well convinced that like they just were not going to come out with this one. And then those final couple Brunson makes where he gets it close to Mikhail tip-in was huge. They definitely needed that. Like, and then once Brunson got it, like you still can't help but feel like, yeah, that's gonna probably go in just because it's Jalen Brunson. And that's the nice part of having Jalen Brunson on this team. Unfortunately, like, yeah, I don't find myself feeling quite as happy as I should, because I largely leave this series thinking like, if they struggled this hard against the Pistons, who were in their first playoffs, and JB Bickerstaff, who I don't really have much of a higher opinion of as a coach after the series than I did going in. I think that they still struggled mightily with a lot of the same stuff that the Knicks struggle with, which is like, execution stuff. And I mean, that guy, it worked out okay for him in this game, I guess, because he won one of them. But that guy just loves to burn his challenges early, which is not something you can say about Tibbs. Tibbs usually hoards the challenges unless he thinks he's going to win. But either way, it's just like, I don't walk away from the series being like, yeah, the Knicks have this figured out. Like they're tuned up for the Celtics. Like, unfortunately, it was just kind of them like consistently coming out, having some good ideas. Like this game, they had some great ideas on offense in the first quarter, and then just went away from it in the second quarter. And then they had some great ideas in the third quarter, and then largely went away from it in the fourth quarter. And it's like, until you know that like this team has a gear where they can get away from Tibbs's security blanket of like just wanting Brunson ISOs at late in games and whatever, and essentially putting him on an island to just win games by himself, it makes you not feel great about facing a team that is the defending champion, that played phenomenal this year, that it just handily destroyed the Knicks every time they played them this year in the regular season. Even it just doesn't inspire a ton of confidence coming out of the series. So it is kind of a weird feeling going from a Brunson game winner that had me super hype in the moment to now, I don't know, when we're recording this a little over an hour later, feeling like a little more sobered up about the whole situation, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there's just to me, it comes down to there's no identity there. And last year, maybe because of the injuries, but I don't even want to say because of the injuries, because before the injuries, it felt like they had a clear-cut identity, and it was almost as simple as like Tibbs's like no structure, let him hoop offense can work when you have two really high-level shot creators. And whatever you want to say about Julius Randle, the Knicks had that. And when you just like, I think the hot hand theory guys made this joke, like Tibbs just opened up the playbook for this year and he crossed out Julius Randle's name and he just wrote in Karl Anthony Towns. Nothing else shifted, right? And that was like a lot of this game, a lot of this series with Cat, like the non-Brunson minutes was like, all right, let's run through Cat. Like just kind of tried to use him like Julius Randle. Karl Anthony Towns is a lot of things Julius Randle isn't, but he's not the shot creator, Julius Randle. He's not comfortable just getting the ball. And because of that, like the just let him hoop like mantra offensively, like it doesn't work and it doesn't give you consistency. The reason the Knicks were playing well early in this game is because Jalen Brunson came out and was a basketball genius, right? Like the shot making, the gravity going to the rim. I thought it was easily the best passing game in a playoff game I've ever seen him have. And everyone else was incredibly high energy. Like Mikal Bridges was running the floor every time, a lot of event creation defensively. Mikal finished this game with 7 made shots at the rim. I don't think he's hit that number this entire year. It was guys playing with great effort, guys playing with great intensity and focus, but there's still no plan there. And against a team like the Pistons, who might have a simple identity, similar to what the Knicks had last year, but they have a defined identity, like eventually that team's going to punch you back because they're also tough. They're also skilled. They're also talented. And then you just kind of like go in, like Tibbs's shell is like saying, Jalen, come save me. And Jalen came and saved them. And maybe he'll save them once or twice against the Celtics. But I think we know at this point that is not a maximized version of this team. And yes, this is a imperfect roster. Yes, there are issues across the board, again, just in terms of creation and not having a lot of guys who can dribble, but it does not feel like this team is anywhere close to its ceiling because there isn't really any sort of plan on offense. But maybe that's a little too dour after a game with a lot of great efforts. And the Knicks, Alex, we would have died for this 6 years ago, winning a playoff series, heading to the second round for the 3rd consecutive year.
There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute Major League Baseball showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA playoff game. Finding great seats, though, that used to be a challenge until Game Time. With last-minute deals, all-in prices, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Plus, ticket prices actually drop as the beginning of the game gets closer, so you can score amazing seats at a great price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast.
The details. They lose by 6. They're down by 15. I think it was like 17 was maybe the biggest lead.
Yeah.
They come back. They get within range. Russ smokes some layups. They don't get the stops. They needed a 3 late, couldn't get it. There was a late 3 that was made by the Clippers that got it home. Harden was great in this game. 28 points on 10 of 20 shooting, 8 dimes for Harden, but he was only a +2. Kawhi was a +14, 27 points on 11 of 22. Shooty hoops, man, makes shooty hoops. 10 boards, 5 assists for Kawhi. Yoke goes, the Yoke stat line is once again good. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Most teams would take that from their star and be like, you can't be serious with any sort of criticism. Yoke's taking a lot of criticism from most Nuggets fans tonight for the way that he played. Murray had 21 points on 9 of 19 shooting, 8 boards, 8 dimes, by the way, for Jamal in this one. He was +2. Yoke was +1. They played DeAndre Jordan for 2 minutes and 58 seconds, and we're -6, and that's your ball game. Like, it's literally, that's it. Like, that's your ball game. And I do not
Horrible decision by Adam.
I hate like, stop putting DJ in this position where I have to do this.
Just
Please
a horrible, I nearly said it. I nearly said the word.
Norman Powell also gave them 24.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually a big difference.
Very
compared to 15. Second half, Adelman starts Batum, and that was a huge difference maker because of the way that they were able to play. Let's go through your frustrations about this performance and why you're so negative on it. I'll give you my view, and then we can kind of go from there.
Well, first and foremost is that, like, we have to do this again, guys. Like, are you freaking? What happened last year? What just happened? You allow a game 6 to get away from you, and you've got graphics where a Joker is standing on the sideline during game 6, watching an just absolute tire fire go out where the Nuggets are down 50 against the Wolves in game 6, and then it looks like they're going to win, and they don't ultimately win because they gassed out and because they didn't have the energy. Hey, let's see what happens. Let's see if Denver can change the flow, change the energy in game 6 of this game where, they start the first quarter really well. They're up, playing pretty good. Immediately a horrible decision by David Adelman to play DeAndre Jordan against a small ball 5 unit. Are we serious? Like, Peyton Watson played 1 minute in the first half or whatever it was. Like, this is not hard. And they let go of the rope. They should have been up by more than 5 in the first half. They were down 1, and then they let go of the rope in the third quarter. Just unserious in so many ways, driving into like really, really ugly plays. The defense is not doing any defensive things. And Denver got bailed out a couple times because Christian Brown hit some threes for the first time in this series, and Jokic made a three. But that third quarter was very definitive. Denver had no chance to come back from that, and yet they did. They found a way to kind of dig themselves back out of it in the fourth quarter, and they were very close. And then Russell Westbrook, who had a fantastic game up until that point, smokes a layup that they really, really needed. And Denver just couldn't get back any momentum after that. But really, man, my issue is with Jokic. Like, Murray just gave you 43. He gave you 43 points in game 5 while you had 13 and were struggling to deal with James Harden's defense. In this entire game, he spent the entire time, whenever he got a call, whenever he did not get a call, staring over at the officials and trying to figure out why he wasn't getting calls. And I am like, this is a closeout game, man. Just go get the bucket. Like, take the open three that you generated, that the offense generated for you as a 48% three-point shooter in the playoffs or whatever you've been. Take the open three. And yet you're pump faking into a mess and turning the ball over and like smoking layups. And yeah, you're probably getting fouled a little bit. I get it. But like, holy cow. Like, just this is what the playoffs are all about. And he did not show in the second half of this game.
Okay. First, I want to acknowledge something because I am too much of I tut too much. Doth protest too much. It's a fan's right to be mad at officiating. It is every fan's right to hate the officials. It is a grand tradition amongst all sports fans across the globe that the officials are trying to screw your team and screw you over, and you don't get a good whistle, and it is specifically your guy. I am acknowledging that Nuggets fans feel that way, that Yoke got a bad whistle and was fouled all night, and that would have been the difference in the game. I am acknowledging that you feel that way. Okay. Not you.
I also feel that he got fouled, but like, I just don't care as much. It's about what you do with it.
I was chuckling listening to Dime Dropper on Locked On Clippers because he did the thing that I've said is the motto of all Locked On hosts, which is, look, I'm not a blame the officials guy, but it's every single I have listened to so much Locked On content during these playoffs, and I swear to you, every single show is the same. Look, I'm not a blame the refs guy, but
yeah. And
then there's not a lot to really analyze. Like, the whistle is the whistle, and if you had gotten a great whistle, maybe you win this game, but you didn't. And you have to win despite it. Like, you're not always going to get a good whistle. You're not always going to get I know the answer is like, well, we just want a fair one. You're not going to feel like anything's fair unless you get a good one. And that's just like how it's going to be. Fans were
so here's a counter to that. They attempted 9 total free throws tonight and were very like, it's not just like that. They don't take any threes. They took 27 total threes. They didn't overly turn the ball over. Like,
I mean,
12 total turnovers is not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
So I'll say that, but I do want to point this out. 23 points off of those turnovers tonight.
Of course. Oh yeah. The transition defense, when they allowed it, was absolute horse crap. They deserved the loss. There's no question in my mind.
Okay.
Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. And with 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. XPass Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller is required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen.
The New York Knicks came into Little Caesars Arena, beat the Pistons for a third time,
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast.
Not a good outcome for your Detroit Pistons. They had a chance to extend this series to 7, get back to Madison Square Garden, and give themselves a chance. Give themselves a chance to win the game, win this series. They gave themselves a chance. And after being, I would say, pretty outplayed for the first 3 quarters, Detroit surged back in the fourth quarter. I was there credentialed. The stadium, the crowd, the arena was absolutely it was deafening. The crowd was unreal. Absolutely unreal. The crowd was amazing. Couldn't hear anything. You wondering why it sounds like I maybe lost my voice? Because all I was trying to do, I wasn't cheering. I was just simply trying to talk to the person next to me in the media row. And we were having to scream because we couldn't hear each other. Crowd was amazing. And the Pistons surged back after being down 11 earlier in this fourth quarter. Took the lead. Not just came back and tied. Took the lead by 5. With 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go on an Asar Thompson second made free throw. And now, guys, this is where I have to take things in a different direction. If you are watching this on YouTube, you will see that over on the side, you will see we only have the first segment drawn out. Season is over. Why is that? Because right now I may be all over the place. There's many areas I want to go. But I have to start with the absolutely baffling, unexplainable, confusing, non-understanding decision by JB Biggerstaff to take out Asar Thompson with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. The Pistons were down by 11 early in this fourth quarter. 12 points, actually. 12 points early in the fourth. They subbed in Asar with 9 minutes left. The score was 101-89. Over the next 5 minutes, the Pistons outscored the Knicks 2-21. I'll say it again. Over the next 5 minutes after Asar was subbed into the game, they outscored the Knicks 2-21. Over this stretch, Asar had a dunk, a layup, a steal, another layup, another steal, drew a foul, hit 1 of 2 free throws. And JB took him out with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left, where Jalen Brunson, which, before we go any further, Jalen Brunson hit a hell of a shot. He crossed up Asar. That's going to be one that is played for the ages. That was a crazy move. He deserves all the credit. He did. But before that final play, throughout the fourth quarter, Asar Thompson was clamping him up. And the Pistons took him off the floor. Their defense was outstanding. Their defense was outstanding with Asar on the floor in the fourth quarter. If you want the numbers to back it up, with Asar on the floor in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson was 2 of 10, including that last game-winning shot. So outside the game-winning shot, he was 1 of 9. He was 1 of 9 against Asar in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks had 4 turnovers over this span. This is the only time that I have ever seen my entire Twitter feed from beat writers outside of Detroit, national media, national writers, all asking the same question. Not just inside Detroit, people outside of Detroit watching the game to analyze basketball, cover the NBA, asking the same question. Why did you take out Asar Thompson? I waited to record the podcast until we got an answer. Because if it was Asar is tired, then it is what it is. But it was not because Asar was tired. Asar was asked after the game, why, when you were taken out, did you ask to come out? Were you tired, or was it schematic? He said schematic, but we trust everyone on the team. It's unacceptable. That's a baffling. It's an absolute baffling decision by JB Bickerstaff. Absolute baffling decision. I have nothing for it. In the few minutes that Ausar was off the floor, Jalen Brunson was 2 of 4, 5 points. And that's all they needed. That's all they needed while Ausar was out. While Ausar was out the game, before he came back into the game, Brunson scored immediately back-to-back. And one, and then a driving layup underneath. Because the guys guarding him are just too small. He overpowers them in the fourth quarter. They are good through quarter 1 to quarter 3 because they can pest full court. And that is agitating. But once you get into the half court and you clear the floor out, Jalen Brunson, who I got to talk with Monica McNutt before the game a little bit, she spoke about how strong he is, and people don't realize how strong he is. He is an extremely strong dude. So he's able to just bump Schroeder off of him in the half court and get to his shots. And that's what he did in just a few minutes. Ausar was out the game. The Pistons went from being up 7 to up 2. Ausar comes back into the game, and we know what happens after that. The Pistons, once they got up by 7, once they were already up, had all the momentum on their side. This should have been them closing out the game. They should have won this game by 7 points. Ausar Thompson, after being the best player, arguably the best player, second best player for the Pistons last game, follows it up with playing 22 minutes and 46 seconds in this game. The only player he played more minutes than was Paul Reed. He played less minutes than Tobias, than Duren, than Tim Hardaway Jr., who was 3 of 11, 1 of 6 from the field. He played 8 less minutes than Schroeder, who was 3 of 9 and 1 of 4 from the field. And he played less than Malik Beasley, who was 6 of 13 from the field. Actually had a good game. All 13 of the shots were threes, 6 of 13 from deep. You finally got that game from Malik, 20 points. By the way, Malik played 9 less minutes than THJ, despite having 20 points and shooting 6 of 13 from deep. Ausar Thompson being your second best player last 2 games, having this level of impact, playing 22 minutes, and then being subbed out, and it being such a baffling decision that you have every single person that was watching the game asking, why was he taken out? Schematic reasons, I guess. It's a baffling decision from JB Bickerstaff. I can't understand why. I just can't. I truly just can't. I cannot understand why they did this. If they don't do that, the Pistons are going back to Madison Square Garden with the Game 7. They had all the momentum on their end. Ausar was playing great defense on Jalen Brunson. They couldn't score in the half court. He was clamping all of them up. And then for some reason, you take him out. Brunson immediately scores 6 points, gets going again. And then what happens. We'll talk about the rest of the series. We'll talk about the rest of the things that happen within this game coming back. But I'm not going to get loud. I'm not going to get emotional or anything like that, because I'm genuinely I'm confused. I can't comprehend why. Can't comprehend why this was the decision made. I truly feel like this decision lost the Pistons this series. Doesn't mean the other games didn't matter. Doesn't mean that the Pistons could have played better in the other games. It doesn't mean there's other reasons why they lost this game. But I truly believe that if they just simply kept him on the floor, we're going back to Madison Square Garden with a chance to win the game. And taking him off the floor removed all that chance. To end this segment, in just 22 minutes and 46 seconds of action, Ausar had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and an assist. He only played 22 minutes, despite what he did last game, and despite Jalen Brunson going off for 40 points in this game and dominating every single other person that was guarding him. Dominated. And despite him being 2 of 10 against Ausar in the fourth quarter, Ausar only played 22 minutes.